Today is the 7th, the 36th day on trail, the penultimate. Been up for like 2 hours and just kind of like still sitting here in camp. It's pretty easy too. There's an incredible view like out in front. And so it's quite nice and it's easy to just like kind of sit here and take it in. So today will be the last full day on trail. It's almost 10 o'clock now. In 26 hours, I'll be at the Durango trailhead. That's just like a fact, you know, and I already know that. And there's like only one way out of this thing, and it's just like walking there. And it's hard because I know that this trail's like already behind me. It's like already finished. I've already like kind of etched my name in the logbook, so to speak. So I'm gonna try to hit 20 today, maybe a little bit more if I can, just get close to the trailhead. It'll be another long day, I know. But then as too, is I've just been like kind of sitting here, like just like thinking about this trail. And some of the things that I've learned along the way. I'm like really ready to be done hiking and just be through with this thing. But I'm not ready to be like off the trail in a certain way. Yeah, I just finished off the rest of my breakfasts. Normally what I would do is just like I'd walk, you know, maybe a couple of miles, like eat a second breakfast. But the next water is like less than a quarter of a mile. You know, I had plenty of water, that even though this is like a dry camp. So it's just like I'm just finished on my water, just like eating the rest of my food, just getting ready to get going. But I broke the zipper on this raincoat this morning. Like one of the tabs fell off and then it's just like the zipper's all chewed up. I've had this coat for like 9 years and I first bought it, you know, to go on my first like solo backpacking trip in the North Cascade National Park. And it's just like kind of been with me like on and off like through the way. And then it's just like kind of weird thinking about, you know, it's just like from that point to tomorrow, it's like I'll vlog like almost like 4,200 miles on long trails alone. And it's hard to explain that. It's like I've destroyed a lot of things, you know, this raincoat, you know, my tent's all chewed up, you know, my Hyperlight, I like walked out of it and just like kind of like started to bust the shoulder strap. The shoes that I have, I've got like almost 800 miles on these. These are like going really strong, but you know, they're starting to fall apart too. And had to get a couple of new socks. All my clothes are falling apart. It's just really hard out here. You know, I just remember what Boots had said to me at the shelter, you know, it's just like he feels like he's out here just like doing battle for 500 miles with this trail, and it's true. You know, it's hard to kind of like explain that. I hope I've done like an adequate job trying to like represent that and capture that in a certain way. But it is like every day is a battle out here. I was just thinking, it's just like there's no easy day. You know, yesterday was brutal and today is probably going to be brutal too. Regardless of how I feel right now, you know, that's all going to change in an hour or two, or, you know, we'll just see what happens. It's hard to kind of explain what happens out here. You know, it's a real roller coaster, you know, both like topographical and emotional and spiritual, and just like, it's kind of hard to explain, you know, just like what it feels like on a long trail. You know, the same sort of way that it's hard to explain, you know, like what it means to have logged like 1,200 hours over 2 deployments, you know, sit in center seat. A lot of these like really hard, intense experiences that very few get to have, and it's like hard to kind of represent that. And like I said, like I know I'm already there. Once I get on my feet, I know it's like already behind me. Just walking it behind me. At present, I'm just sitting in the bushes. There's like these 3 bikers that I've seen the last couple of days, and they just like kind of came up over the crest. Yeah, it looks like they've been just pushing their bikes most of the time. They couldn't figure out if they like wanted to ride downhill or push downhill. And then like just like one of these weird phenomena that sometimes happens. There's like this strange like convergence of all these people like suddenly at like one particular place. And so there was like all these bikers, and there's like a couple of hikers, and no one could figure out who was going to hike faster down this hill and like what the bikes were doing, and everyone's just like, ah. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go sit in the bush for a second and like let y'all figure it out, get some space ahead of me. It's like with the hikers, it's not too bad. Sometimes you'll like leapfrog, and you're like, no, you're gonna leapfrog. You pass each other as like each other's like sitting and taking a break like I am right now. But other times it's just like the bikers just come out of nowhere sometimes, and then they hit these steeps, and they like don't know if they're gonna ride or if they're gonna push. And sometimes they'll like look like they're gonna ride, but then they push, and then it's just like I don't know what you're doing, and I can't like continuously watch what's going on behind me. It's kind of frustrating. It's not frustrating, it straight up pisses me off actually. But you know, you gotta respect other trail users and that. So nothing against them. You know, it's just like it could be like any number of things. It could be a lot of different things. It's just like there was some hikers that I ran into back where there were sheep. I guess I was just like, I don't know, to
fast with the way I was talking or doing something or whatever, but, you know, they gave me like a nasty nickname. They called me ULD for ultralight douche. You know, sometimes it's just like, I don't want to stop to talk to you. You know, I'm out here working. I'm like hiking. It was like this other cat who was just like, you know, wearing his like Grateful Dead, like tie-dye shirt. Kid must have been like 22 years old. He's all like hitting it hard and like, you know, and like looking like he wanted to talk. And it's like, I don't want to talk. I just want to go where I'm going, you know? Like stepped out of your way as a courtesy so you could pass, you know what I mean? I'm like not here to interact with you. So I don't know what people's expectations are sometimes, you know, or if they've got like something specific, but you know, just because I'm out here like, you know, out in the mountains and just like, you know, walking through the woods and stuff doesn't mean I'm like Mr. Friendly. You know, like I want to stop and chat with you all the time. So for the, you know, penultimate, you know, there's still some really wonderful views. Taylor Lake is just on the other side of the bushes. I caught a look at it, you know, before I was like jumping out of the trail.
The lake is back there. I just ate another Cliff Bar because who don't love Cliff Bars? I'm so sick of eating out of my food bag. I'm not stopping at the lake because I just don't care anymore. Oh, just don't care. I seen George on the trail over coming from the lake, hobbling like a mofo. I guess like one of his knees swelled up, then he got a compensatory injury on the other knee. He looked like he's hobbling hard. At Kennebec Pass, start to section 28, segment 28, whatever you call it, I don't know. 26 to Durango. Whoop-de-doo. Just over that last little climb. It's like a little shack back there. It's kind of run down. This is pretty much the highest point. It's all downhill. There's like a little 1,000-foot bump somewhere. We'll probably drop down underneath the trees pretty soon. Yeah. So I just took a break back there at that road. Back down here in the trees, nice and shaded. A little later in the day, it's like 4:45. And I was just cooking up there. Get above tree line in the middle of the day and you just fry. But got like 4 down and then 4 up over the last little hill. So I got like 9 miles to do. Yeah, that's trail math. Because after I hit the top of the climb, I don't know if there's going to be like anything to camp, so I just plan on like, you know, going on a hunt after that point to go and find a campsite. So I think I can make it up there before nightfall. Just set myself up to get down to the trailhead in the morning, just cruise down. Yeah, I think it'll work. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So just hit a water stop at Junction Creek. There's a little camp area, some other hikers down there. All setting up for the evening. You know, it's just like, there's another hiker down there I hadn't met before. And she was saying something like, oh, it's been real good, you know, just like asking how people's days were and stuff. And I just kind of said like, yeah, it's been like a real hard day for me, you know, mentally. But like really, like my body feels fine. My knee feels good. My feet like aren't tender. They don't feel like throbbing or any hot spots, anything else like that. Really is just like one of those days where, you know, really my mind is like the biggest obstacle. So whatever the case might be, you know, I just like go through these swings, sometimes like really intensely on a day-to-day basis, And it's just like, if I just keep moving forward, I can make a little bit of progress. What sort of progress, I have no idea. But right now I feel good. Race against sunset. Durango bound. Penultimate. This is it. It's about 8:15. About a quarter of a mile from the top of this climb, and everything's downhill. It's like a 10-mile descent down into Durango. Losing some light, but I'm getting beautiful colors hitting the cloud for the sunset. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got 3 liters of water in my bag. Next reliable water source is apparently a cow pond, which sounds right up my alley. You know, I think both the coffee and the honey bun are hitting me right now. So I think I'm just gonna keep moving, see where I get. It's kind of hard not to. It's kind of interesting. I just like ran into a cat. I don't usually see a lot of people walking this time of day. It's kind of unusual. I don't know. Unless you're a particular type of person. One guy just said that he was starting his through hike. It's his first day. And then some other cat just said he like lived in Durango, didn't know what to do. He's thinking about walking to Silverton. Maybe he'll just go all the way to Denver. Disabled vet. You know. Meet a lot of guys like that out here. Kind of have to wonder, like, what is it about hiking a long trail at dusk? Been thinking a lot about my military service on this trip. Things that I've talked to from other people. Things that I've sort of experienced. Things I'm kind of going through. Stories of others. There's a lot of us out here doing what, I don't know. Looking for something, trying to recreate something, trying to get away from something. Maybe all 3 and more. Who knows? Whatever it is. It's 475 miles behind me and 10 miles to the end of this thing. 40 minutes of daylight if I'm lucky. No idea how this is going to end up today. It's about 9:30. Put about 23 for the day. So I'm like 7 or 8 out of Durango. The walking's been good. I mean, the trail is pretty well like maintained. It's like hard packed with like a little bit of gravel, but for the most part it's pretty cruiser. The only problem is it's like on a contour. So it's like the side of a slope on a hill. And it's like really going to be difficult for me to find a place to camp. Because I'm just like existing in this like 10-foot diameter like orb of light. And I can't see anything else. The places that I've seen that I can camp have been occupied. And the other things that have not been occupied have just been like little eyes staring at me in the night. A couple have freaked me out. But as I get closer, I think they're just rabbits. You know, not everybody likes to night hike, and that's totally cool. I like to do it every once in a while. Especially when I'm like trying to make long days and stuff. The fuck is this? Ugh. Sometimes things like really like play with your eyes. Yeah, it's a real experience. It's a little nerve-wracking. Campsite? Nope. So it's hard because it's like I can't see shit. And if there's any campsites that aren't like right on the trail, it's going to be really hard for me to see them. But yeah, not everybody's going to want a night hike. And that's fine. I like to do it every once in a while to like kind of make miles. Just experience it a little different. Here there's just like a lot of thick underbrush and forest. So there's like not, I don't think I'm like really missing anything this like long descent in anyway. I don't know. It's just one of those ways to sort of punch through another thing. Another like possibility for growth. I used to teach at this outdoor science school. And for one of the activities, we like learned about nocturnal critters. I'd take the kids out at night and I'd make them walk like 50 meters, like alone in the dark. I like knew where to go. I like had this nice little path that was like free of any debris. I mean, unless they like tripped on their own shoelace, it would have been impossible to fall over. I think teaching out there and working out there and then just spending so much time in the night and encountering the fears of a lot of other people and trying to work through some of that kind of helped put my own mind at ease. So that's cool. Either way, eventually I'm going to try to find a place to stop, eat my macaroni and cheese, probably burn the last of my fuel. Hope I've got enough to cook the noodles. Set myself up for an easy day. Head to the trailhead tomorrow. So, barring me like falling off the side of this contour, being mauled by a mountain lion, see you tomorrow.